Hey everyone, welcome back to a new Boom Beach video. I am recording this right after my last video, so if you haven't seen that, go watch it. But I wanted to kind of contrast both of these combinations because I think they're very good combinations. But as I was recording the last video, I kind of came to the realization that maybe the Riflemen Bombardiers isn't as good as it once was. Maybe people are learning how to counter it, or something similarly like that. So I wanted to jump on this account again right after, so I have it fresh in my mind, and do Heavies and Bombardiers so we can compare and contrast if the Heavies are better than the Riflemen. And that's the main goal of today's video. Hopefully I can answer that question. I always thought that top level players were using Riflemen Bombardiers, and they definitely were in the past. However, I checked a bunch of bases after the last video and I couldn't find one that was using this combination. Honestly, a lot of top players using the Scorcher, all Scorcher combination. And here's the deal, is I don't think they're actually using that combination. I think they're loading up that combination because it costs the most gold so that they can save gold and have players not take that gold from them, because I'm assuming top players spend a lot of money just buying gold so they can fuel their attacks. So that's my theory. Top players aren't using all Scorchers, and you probably shouldn't either. All Scorchers is not a good enough combination to be attacking players in the leaderboard with. But yeah, let's talk about the main difference between all Heavies, or sorry, the Heavy in the Bombardier combination and the Riflemen in the Bombardier combination, because the way you use them is very different. Now, if you haven't watched my last video, basically how you use Riflemen is you drop one boat at a time, so you have a constant line of Riflemen going up on the base. Heavies, it's very different because you have way less Heavies than you have Riflemen, but the Heavies have way more HP. So you don't want to have a constant line of Heavies. Instead, you want to, I go for a 1-to-1 ratio of Heavies to Bombardiers. I just find that works the best, especially when you push up in medals. And you just kind of spread out your troops and let them go to work on the base. And that has a lot of different advantages. And the main advantage is Bombardiers do better when they're spread out. They deal a lot of damage, but they fire very slowly. And the more time that the Bombardiers have targeting a building together, the worse it is for you, because if all your Bombardiers are clumped up, dang, don't die. Okay. That boom cannon targeted Dr. Kavan. Luckily, I was able to get the shock out. They're all going to be firing at once, and you're going to waste a lot of time and a lot of damage when they could have been spread out. So that's why spreading out Bombardiers is always better. However, when you're using the Rifleman Bombardier combination, you can't afford to spread them out. That's just not how it works. In my mind, Rifleman Bombardiers are better than Bombardiers Heavies. That's just in my mind. But again, we're going to try to answer that question today. One thing about Bombardiers Heavies is if Dr. Kavan dies early in the attack, you have a very low chance of winning. Very, very low. That's why I got so nervous when Dr. Kavan was about to get blown up by a boom cannon. You rely on Dr. Kavan, you rely on a second wind. But for Riflemen and Bombardiers, you don't rely on it as much. You still rely on it, but you can still win if Kavan dies early in the attack. So that's kind of the main difference between Dr. Kavan in each combination. In my mind, Dr. Kavan is also the best troop combination, or the best hero to bring with this combination. So benefits of Heavies is you get to spread them out, which takes on the base faster, and also utilizes the Bombardier's ability to be spread out. Downfall of the Heavies is you rely very much on Dr. Kavan, and it might be weaker when you're attacking players with more defensive damage and more like higher level defenses. Benefits to Riflemen, obviously I was comparing the Heavies just to Riflemen, so it's the opposite of what I said, but it allows you to kind of target a side of a base. Like you can reflare more when you're using Riflemen than if you're going with Heavies. Heavies, I'm not going to reflare at all, but Riflemen, I have the ability to flare around the corner if I want to, because all my Bombardiers are kind of clumped up. So those are the main differences, and yeah, let's try to answer this question. So far, I would say they're kind of performing equal. We're losing all of our heavies. When I was using Riflemen, I lost all of my Riflemen. So far, it's looking like they're pretty equal. However, I really want to find someone who has a lot of building health or building damage and try attacking them, because that's the real test. How are they going to stack up against bases that are meant to defend? So let's just scout and let's try to find someone now so I can answer that question. That guy had a little ice, but I would really like to find a lot more ice than that. I didn't have any. Level 61. Here's a level 74, maybe. Okay, he has a little ice. Let's attack him. He has about 25%. It looks like he probably just has one masterpiece, but he does have a laser beam, which is bad. That's one of the worst prototypes, because it doesn't look like it'd be deadly. However, it is very deadly. It can wipe you out. Doing good so far. Heavies definitely die a lot faster than the Riflemen, so that's a good thing to point out, because the faster your tanking troops die, the faster obviously defenses will start targeting your Riflemen. I guess the counter argument to that would be, are they dying at the same point in your attack to the base? Because they might die sooner, but if you make as much ground as the Riflemen when you are attacking a base, then it kind of cancels out. It's a good point. It's a really good point. So I don't know the answer to that either. I thought I would remember the Bombardiers Riflemen a little bit more, and to be honest, I still do. However, in my mind, they're doing about the same. If not, Riflemen are winning very, very, very slightly, in my opinion. But it's so slight. It's so slight. And I think that's a good point, because I rarely go to Riflemen and Bombardiers because it's so particular. But if you're at a high level and you need every bit of edge you can possibly get, so you're gonna use a combination even if it's 2% better than a different combination. So even if the Riflemen and Bombardiers are 2% better than Heavy Bombardiers, you're gonna use that combination. Whereas me, I'd rather take the 2% hit and defeat a base faster, because that's the nature of this combination. I guess another downfall to the Riflemen is it's just so finicky. Like I was saying this last video, it's incredibly easy. It's incredibly easy to lose and just make like a little mistake and lose when you're using the Riflemen and Bombardiers, but it's incredibly hard to do that when you're using Riflemen Heavies, and that's mainly goes to the nature of the Heavies just being stronger, and you have a little more leeway when you're using them. So I don't know, right now the way I'm leaning right now, this very point in time, I would say Riflemen are a little bit better, 5% probably better than the Heavies, but Heavies are faster and, in my opinion, a lot easier to use and a lot faster to destroy bases. So if you are attacking players that one are either super high in metals, super high in metals, so you have a lot of defensive damage, or if you're attacking players that are a lot higher in levels than you, like 10-20 levels, I would say you probably should be using the Heavies Bombardiers. Otherwise, you'll want every bit of edge you can get yourself the Riflemen and Bombardiers. So that's where I'm sitting. I think that's probably a good analysis. I've never really done this before, where I've kind of recorded two videos back to back to compare two different troop combinations. So definitely, if you liked this style of video, let me know down below. This will be the last one I'll take out, pumping them up a little bit more, but it's going to be really easy. This guy is a lot lower in metals. I guess another thing I would like to point out is prototypes, because prototypes make such a big difference. What prototypes counter each combination? Grapplers. Grapplers counter this combination really bad. Very bad, actually. So if this base is easy, so you don't really see the effects of it, but if a high level player has a grappler, that hurts you so much when you're using Heavies Bombardiers. Whereas if a top level player has a microwave or a hot pot, that's gonna hurt your Riflemen Bombardiers and kind of your Heavy Bombardiers, but not as badly. Both have pros and cons. I'm gonna stick with Heavy Bombardier. I think it's a better combination. If you like this video, drop a like, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye guys.